Good evening. Turn some lights on in here. I want to talk for a moment about climate change. I listened to a video that a gentleman made some really good points, and just wanted to expound on them in my way. He went into talking about peak whale. He went into talking about just a whole lot of really intriguing things, and I want to go into detail on them. He talked about how, hold on a second. He talked about how, it'd be impossible for them to try to do anything about climate change. He talked about how he figured that would be impossible and all this. I agree. In fact, a part of me thinks that, and I support Bernie Sanders. He's my dude. They'll let him win. They'll let him win, and then they'll wreck the economy. It would be like if my friend Denzel, I had a business, and he's like, man, you're ruining that business. And then I give him the business, and then 5 minutes after he walks in and he's got the business, I tell him, hey, man, look, the mafia, I owe them a bunch of money. They okay. There's a lot of gangs around here, a lot of violence around here. It hurts my business, so my business fucked up. My roof is leaking. We got stuff in the mold in the basement. It's like, damn, that's what I think will happen with Bernie Sanders. So I respect him and I love him. But I understand the system we live in is by its nature unjust. And so it takes more than one president or AOC or a Miss Tlaib, or it takes more than just one of those people or 4 or 10 of those people to fix society. And he talked about, the gentleman in that video, he talked about how, climate change is not being dealt with and peak oil and all that. And I agree with him. But I go a little bit further in that I have to say that nothing is being done about climate change. Nothing's being done about it. I don't see anything being done. Not only, he made a really great point. He spoke about how if they try to do a 6% decrease in our status of living and everything, people would not go along with it and stuff. And he talked about how, you got a lot of folks don't have electricity and don't have the resources we have. So why should they have to decrease their standard of living? Because we've been partying it up. Great points. And he said something else. Hold on, I want to say it the right way. Basically, my response is this. I agree with him, but I also think that with all these wars... See, I thought about this last night. The dangerous thing about Donald Trump? It isn't just the arrogance and the bigotry and all that. The dangerous thing about Donald Trump is that he's making society not take this stuff seriously. That we're not moving in any direction, any direction on climate change. Trump is making the world a lot more unstable. Oh yeah, I gotta say that. He's making the world a lot more unstable with his wars, with his constant threats of wars. He's just making the world very unstable right now. And just this arrogance of American first. Well, if America's not, it's like with the Iran deal. Everybody else pulling out of it now and stuff like that. It's just, Iran is not following by it. And I don't know why they would. Why would you? There's no benefit for them. There's no benefit for them. It's like Trump they just won a war with Iran, but they don't know how to start it. It's like a little boy. No, I'm not going into that. Well, so my thing is this, man. There is no bigger polluter than the American military. No bigger polluter. I don't think so, at least. And so, when Trump says the things he does, and alienates people, and weakens this and weakens that, he puts America in this very tenuous, precarious situation. It's like a movie, Road to Perdition. You had the one gangster dude. You had Tom Hanks, who was just really, he had a family. He was, go easy guy, easy go along guy. And the other one liked fighting. So he'll say something to make you book so that now Tom got to shoot you. That's basically what Trump is doing with America right now. All this racism and all that's a sideshow. But America has a duty, I've always thought, to lead, mold, guide, educate, and just move society forward in the West and throughout the world. And so with this ignorance about climate change, it's just ignorance. It isn't just lack of action, ignorance. It's the destructive nature of his rhetoric. It's everything that comes from that. That makes sense. That's why I think that nothing will be done about climate change. Nothing will be done. Nothing ain't worth talking about. I hadn't even thought about, all the other stuff he was talking about. He made some great points, but I just think that it's hard to talk about climate change. We got this man creating new weapons and this. And then you have all this stuff come out about climate change. See, you know what I think, man? I did a video last night with you guys talking about the Afghan war documents. And I said to you, if you remember, that's not something that's going to be used to, okay, now we know, do something about it. This is just getting them ready for what's coming. That's all it is. Getting them ready for what's coming. Because this system is based upon corporations. Corporations have more rights than people. What do you say? They I don't even know what to say about that. They have more rights than people. We can't expect the military to do anything about it. I think this is another example of how you can lie and lie and lie, but the proof is in the pudding. These folks are still going to do what it takes to protect industry, and military is industry. Believe me, look at Skunk Works and look at Lockheed Martin and look at all the money that goes into that stuff. Do I really have to explain to you? That's industry. So they got to get ready. And this is about the oppressor maintaining his power. When they talk about how all this flooding and stuff, you're going to have refugees. I didn't even go into that yet. They're talking about the refugees and talking about these bases overseas are going to be in danger and stuff. Yeah. This is about maintaining supremacy. This is about maintaining primacy. This is not about preventing or maybe marginalizing it. Maybe doing something to take the edge off climate change and okay, well we'll do this to better society. No. That report is about how can we maintain supremacy going into this next 100 years. I used to look at a lot of InfoWars. He used to talk about the big new Brzezinski and Carol Quigley. They did a tragedy and hope and between two ages, next 100 years. And I used to hear people talk about how these guys had plans. They wrote books saying the next 100 years. There's stuff talking about this stuff in these books. That's what that is. They're getting ready for the next 100 years. That's all that is. And how can we maintain supremacy in a world with, there's going to be a lot of crop damage when that salt water comes up and damages the crop. People living at sea level or below sea level, they're going to be fucked. These refugees, like I said, more flooding, stronger storms. That's all this is. This is not about, the military is getting woke. No, it's not. If you look back in history, like at the Powell memo and all this, you've always had white men who were concerned about losing their power and them creating little think tanks and stuff to, let's sit down and figure out how can we maintain control. You always had that. That's not because they're like, well, slavery's bad. No. How can we maintain our money without slaves? How can we maintain our money in a technologically advanced society? How can we, you know what I mean? That's why I always tell you guys, I call them the breakaway civilization. You're 20 years ahead. We're up here pledging to a flag, and they've got businesses that are all over the world. You know, I just thought that was a really good video, really on point video. It's sad, but I think it reminds you that America is the greatest danger or the greatest threat to world peace there is. There ain't no big gangsters in this. They've always been that. They probably always will be that. I used to hear about countries where they didn't want the U.S. government, military to come in after a storm or this, and I get it now. I mean, look at what Haiti. It was the UN, I think, or one of these peacekeeping countries. They came in. They were putting their feces into the river, and a bunch of folks got dysentery down there and died. This is the mind of the oppressor. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care who they hurt, and that's clear, man. Peace.